The Coinbase CEO has a bone to pick with the United States dragging its feet compared to the rest of the world when it comes to speedy crypto regulation policy. But shouldn't we be one of the leaders in that arena? I mean, what the heck? Thanks for watching.
Brian, thank you so much for joining us. You recently made this big, interesting bet as a centralized exchange on decentralization. A year or so ago, decentralization was a big worry for traditional financial players, but more so now, there are a lot of concerns about the space. So what is the case for traditional financial players to care about DeFi?
Yeah. Well, we're definitely excited about DeFi at Coinbase, and we want to make sure we help build the future of this technology here in America. Actually, a lot of traditional financial services firms are integrating this technology. I mean, everybody from JP Morgan, Visa and MasterCard, Franklin Templeton, they have projects and teams internally working on how to integrate crypto into their services. And I think the reason for that is that 80% of Americans are not happy with the current financial system as it is today. They think it's too slow, the fees are too high, it doesn't serve everybody equally, and a lot of the technology was built 40 years ago, the laws were 100 years ago, and so people are really excited about how crypto as a technology can help improve and update the financial system, and that's why we're here at Coinbase. We want to make sure that we enable that as well.
But there are still near-term challenges, and which are the biggest among them? Are they the idea of hacks and any vulnerabilities in the system, or is it the regulatory environment in the United States?
Yeah, I mean, my number one priority this year is the policy environment. So we need to make sure that that gets to a good place in the US. The rest of the world has actually embraced crypto. We've seen all the major financial hubs, Singapore and Hong Kong and London, and the EU just passed comprehensive crypto legislation. So really what I believe should happen in the United States is that we need a clear rule book so that this industry can be built here. We don't want it to be like 5G or semiconductors that went offshore. It's actually a matter of national security. We get the future of the financial system built here inside the United States. And so I've been spending more time in DC, here in New York, but in DC in particular, we're trying to meet with the relevant folks that could help draft legislation so Congress can come in and pass comprehensive legislation. Before
we get to the Washington of it all, I want us to look out 5 years from now, because there are a lot of financial players, as you say, that are looking at tokenization. A lot of it's happening in the private markets. To the extent that you think traditional securities can be tokenized, 5 years from now, are you collaborating with any banks to get to that point?
Yeah, so crypto is many different things, right? There are crypto securities, which we believe there should be a robust market for that in the US. In fact, we acquired a broker-dealer license. It's still dormant right now, but we'd like to work with the SEC to activate that and create a healthy market structure to trade crypto securities. Now, of the 1,000 assets we've looked at Coinbase, 800 of them we've rejected. We don't think we have, maybe they're securities. 200 or so of them we have listed on our platform. We believe those are commodities. And so we're going to continue to build that piece of our business. We're regulated by the CFTC, for instance, and make sure we grow that piece as well. But crypto is many things. It's commodities, it's securities, it's stable coins, it's artwork, it's decentralized identity systems. And so it's tough for people to wrap their head around, but it's ultimately going to have many different regulators.
So how does Coinbase stand with the larger trading firms? Did FTX ruin things for everyone, or is Coinbase behaving well enough to still be in the cool kids club?
Before we get to the regulatory part of this too, we were talking kind of about traditional financial players and what role they have in this system. What kind of relationship do you have to high-frequency trading firms? Prior to the implosion of FTX, you saw them working, for example, with IEX. Have you had any conversations with them or any others?
Well, we're always talking with different firms out there and other exchanges that may want to trade crypto in various ways. We can act as a brokerage, an exchange, a custodian. We can play different roles in different market structures. And in financial services, you often see, a company that may compete on one product, they're actually collaborators on another product. And so we want to make sure that we're helping integrate crypto into all aspects of the financial system so we can update the financial system.
So you were talking about the SEC, the CFTC, the SEC's crackdowns as of late in particular. You work with a lot of institutions. Hedge funds had been very much getting into crypto prior to last year. I'm wondering if the SEC's crackdown is starting to scare any of them away.
Well, in a way, actually, I think Coinbase has been a net beneficiary of this because there's essentially a flight to quality. Coinbase, we're a public company. We have audited financial statements. We're a qualified custodian. I mean, we're basically the choice, based here in the U.S. that hedge funds are going to want to work with. And so in Q4, I mentioned this on our earnings call, actually, that we saw an increase in the number of institutions onboarding to Coinbase. Now, a lot of them haven't deployed substantial capital to crypto yet in this market environment. They're kind of waiting and seeing, but it's great to see them onboarding, and that's kind of a coiled spring that I think could unleash a lot of potential in the next market change. Hedge
funds still flocking to crypto. Listen, we are resetting here just really quickly here with Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, for our Bloomberg television and radio listeners. Getting into the complicated regulatory environment now. Stablecoins. You were talking about how there are multiple regulators for the crypto industry, but who should be the primary regulator for stablecoins? And is there a case for them to be overseen more like money market funds?
Well, I think Congress ultimately is the one that's going to create the laws in the United States, right? And so we could probably use new legislation, new laws around how stablecoins should be regulated. I don't presume to tell them how to do that, but I think some of the key things are uncontroversial. I mean, we need to have one-to-one backing of assets behind these stablecoins. We need to have audited financial statements to make sure the firms issuing these are doing a good job. So these are just kind of basic good practices, and I think a stablecoin bill is one of the first things that could really help get consensus and move things forward in DC.
Things seem a bit clearer every day who the good and bad actors truly are. Or do they? Let us know in the comments.